Welcome to Speaking Cinema Serious Movie Jibber Jabber, a movie podcast coming to you from the Winter Wonderland that is Hollywood, California. Listen to us Jibber Jabber, Stitcher, iTunes, SoundCloud. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, Facebook, at Speaking Cinema. We are Speaking Cinema. We talk about movies, we watch that movie, then we talk about it again, having had seen it. I am your host, an anthropomorphic snowman, Mr. Jibber Jabber. Here today with me is jolly old Saint Kevin. Kevin.
Ho ho ho.
Returning, the horn god of the witches, the Anti-Claus, Lady Krampus herself, Emily. Hey, what's going on?
The Anti-Claus.
You're the Krampus.
Are you not familiar with the Krampus?
No, I am. But I am not.
And then is that your reindeer on the roof,
It is.
stomping around
I think the Krampus
with
is coming to get us.
with their flaming horns and their red demon eyes?
Exactly.
The intro, little not to your liking apparently.
No, I don't want to be the anti-Christmas.
Speaking of Christmas, the first and unforgettable picture in VISTAVISION. This time on the Jibber Jabber, the most fabulous music and mirth show in motion picture history, 1954's White Christmas, part of our not-so-Merry Christmas holiday celebration. Kind of a divergence from our not-so-Merry Christmas, because this is a pretty Merry Christmas kind of a thing.
Yes, it is.
They sure knew how to promote a movie in the 50s, didn't they?
Well,
The most amazing, incredible thing
Well-
with this thing in it.
Well, let's break this down real quick. First of all, VISTAVISION, I don't know what that is. I don't give a fuck.
It's basically widescreen.
Sure. But, you know, does anyone really care? I mean, I guess it's kind of like 3D now, right?
But they cared then.
Did they care then? Or is it like...
TVs were like 10 inches.
Well, but this is coming out in the theater. This is, you know...
True.
This is 54, homie. It's not TV,
It's
right?
wide.
Well, that's true. And then, if you call something the most this or that, you gotta live up to it. Now, this movie may have done that. But, like, if I called The Amazing Spider-Man the most amazing superhero movie of all time, people would be like, you're wrong,
You
sir.
are
You're a
very
liar. So I think Hollywood has burnt the bridges too much. Because when everything comes out, it's always like, the most scary movie of all time. The best thriller of this year. The best movie of the year. And it's like, I think going in that, what do you call that? Like, those extremes doesn't really help your end goal. Because
No.
people get burnt.
You're not a fan of the hyperbole?
No, not a fan of the hyperbole.
And whenever it's some Bobo movie that they're like, oh, the best movie of the year, it's always some critic from like local Fox network in Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
you know, said it was the best movie of the year.
White Christmas, written by Norman Kranzda, directed by Michael Curtiz, starring Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye, Rosemary Clooney, Vera Ellen. Distribution, Paramount. A lot of Paramount pictures this time around. If
Hey,
you're not
you
from...
know.
Huh?
You know, they're just a good studio.
Are they now?
The only one operating out of Hollywood.
No, they're in Hollywood.
Yeah, I'm saying they're the only one operating like
Oh,
actually
out of Hollywood,
with an,
yes, yeah,
with,
with
an
yeah.
actual Hollywood, California address.
Touche, Kev, touche.
Touche.
Right next to a cemetery.
That's true.
If you are not familiar, having left the Army following World War II, Bob Wallace and Phil Davis team up to become a top singing and dancing act. Davis plays matchmaking and introduces Wallace to a pair of beautiful sisters, Betty and Judy, who also have a song and dance act. When Betty and Judy travel to a Vermont lodge to perform a Christmas show, Wallace and Davis follow, only to find their former commander, General Waverly, as the lodge owner. A series of romantic mix-ups ensues, and the performers try to help the general. Thanks, IMDb, because I've never seen this movie, so I had to liberally borrow from IMDb.
And you know what?
IMDb.com. Check it out.
Neither have I. I've never seen this movie either.
I have many times.
You have a leg up on us for the first time.
Exactly.
Hold on. We got to talk about the bit of background first, but we'll get to that in a second.
But I will say that description is highly accurate.
Highly accurate. Certified. Bit of background. White Christmas is loosely based on the 1942 film Holiday Inn. Also starred Bing Crosby. That movie had Fred Astaire. He did not want to come back for White Christmas. According to the Guinness World Records, Crosby's recording of White Christmas has sold over 100 million copies around the world, with at least 50 million sales as singles. It is the most sold song of all time. Suck it, the Beatles!
Wow. 100 million in that day. That's a lot of wax.
Michael Jackson, eat your heart out. Crosby's recording was so popular that he was obliged to re-record it in 1947, using the same musicians and backup singers, because the 1942 master had become damaged due to the frequent use in the amount of pressings they had to do. To
They
keep
was
up with
just a
demand.
workhorse.
Yeah, they
Don't record me anymore.
they broke that master. Though the two versions are similar, the 1947 recording is the most familiar used today. Filmed in VISTAVISION, a widescreen process developed by Paramount that entailed using twice the surface area of the standard 35mm film. This area negative was used to yield finer grain, standard size 35mm prints. Who gives a shit?
You tech junkies out there, you give a shit.
It features the songs of Irving Berlin, including a version of the song White Christmas introduced by Crosby. Irving Berlin. That's a takeaway from that.
A good lyricist.
A very famous songwriter, Irving Berlin.
As of this recording, you can find this movie on Netflix. You can rent it digitally. You can buy it physically. You can experience it emotionally.
Like all the films here, including Battleship.
So we've already covered this. Em, you've seen this movie a lot.
Yes.
Do you remember the first time you saw it? Is it a holiday classic? Did it come into your life a little bit later?
Well, I first got into musicals around like 2001, and this was definitely high on the list. But it took me, I think, a couple years before I saw it. And
Was it a Christmas or
I think I did see
any time
it.
of the year?
I think I saw it. I think I saw it like in the summertime, and then I decided
Christmas in July.
I decided to watch it again at Christmas time, and now I really like to watch it at Christmas because it's very fun.
Very cool.
It gets me into the holiday spirit.
Speaking of the holiday spirit, do we like movies in this genre? I guess the genre would be musicals, and I guess the subgenre would be holiday musicals. And I guess the clarification would be, is holiday musicals a thing, or am I making this up?
Holiday musicals are a thing.
There's plenty of holiday musicals.
Yeah.
Name one.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
That's a good
Rankin and Bass.
That's a good one.
That's actually true.
I guess Easter Parade would be another one.
Yep. Meet Me in St. Louis is another Christmas one.
Is that Christmas?
Yeah, she sings.
About Christmas.
No, she sings the famous song, the "I'll Be Home for Christmas."
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So do you like them, or?
I love them. I mean, I love musicals in general, any musicals, but especially from the classic Hollywood era of the 40s and the 50s. So this movie is right up my alley.
All right.
Kev?
They're good to have on in the background, I think. Now, I say that from a good place. I'm not saying they're just pure background noise, but I think they're good at Christmas parties, wrapping presents, baking stuff. Have that just kind of on, and it sets a tone, it sets a mood, and I think that's where they're really good at that. So, while also being good stories, to just sit down and watch. But I think that's where a lot of people hold them in their hearts. Is like, oh, this was playing at Grandma's house. We had It's a Wonderful Life on, or something like that.
Yeah.
So.
I like the live action ones because I think those are fun. I think Meet Me in St. Louis is an enjoyable movie. I do not like the fucking claymation ones, as I've said in all of our previous ones. It's like, hey, it's Christmas. Why don't you go kill yourself because this cute fucking creature is sad and Frosty's gonna melt and you're all gonna die one day.
And they all have huge eyes.
Why is it?
And when they're sad.
Yeah, they're huge, sad doe eyes. It just doesn't make any sense. Where Halloween, the holiday about death, is fun fest, and Christmas, a holiday about life, is about death and sadness and death. It just doesn't add up, guys.
Because when you accept death in your life, it makes you a stronger person. It makes you a happier person.
All right, Kev.
We're getting philosophical for Bing Crosby here.
All right, Kev. I'll buy your fucking candles, okay? Are you familiar with Bing Crosby?
I am.
Good old Bing?
Yeah, he's good. I've seen him in a lot of different things. I've seen him in his comedy with all the Road to movies. With Bob Hope.
He was in that one with Sinatra where they sing that Millionaire song, right?
Yeah, that's High Society.
High Society, that's a good one.
He's a good guy. I mean, there is the part where he did beat his children.
Yeah, apparently,
So,
as a Hollywood star, he's pretty unrivaled in terms of just being, a really good actor and a star. In terms of his personal life, there's a lot of
pretty monstrous.
Monstrous accusations.
Yeah, those are pretty that's
Accusations.
Plural.
plural.
Allegedly
So,
accusations.
but we're here to base him on his his performance. In
Oh
the
no, this
movie.
is the grand jury testimony against him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And where is Bing Crosby from?
Spokane, Washington.
Spokane, Washington. He's the hometown
They
hero.
come out evil from there.
Hey,
Is he?
Yeah.
Is there a Bing Crosby street?
there's a theater named after him.
Oh.
The Bing Theater. So I've seen a good performance there. So.
And let's talk about his name, Bing.
Is it short for?
Is it short for anything? Is
Bingham?
it a stage name?
Bing
Like,
Fred.
was he named that? Like, is that his given name? Like, because that's kind of a crazy first name when you really get down to it.
I like to think it's Bingfred.
I'm gonna think about it really hard and access it. Okay, here it is. So, as memory serves, his name is Harry Lillis Bing, quote unquote, Crosby Jr.
So yeah, okay, interesting.
So you probably just got that.
That was all from my memory, assisted by Wikipedia. Why are your name Bing?
Stand by.
In the newspaper, there was a humor column published called the Bingville Bugle, and his nickname, I guess they all, because he had a very salacious laugh or very like notable laugh, they nicknamed him Bingo from Bingville. And then
There
they
you
just
go.
called him, and then that shortened to Bing.
Yeah.
Because calling someone Bingo from Bingville, it'd be very hard to say.
It's kind of not a nickname when it's longer than your actual name.
Right.
Right.
Bing. That's just a good name.
And it became Bing. Alright, so moving on. This is a remake of another movie. Have anyone seen Holiday Inn?
No.
I haven't.
I have not either. And I don't really give a shit about it. Like, I don't really mind that it's a remake. I'm not a defender of Holiday Inn. It's not sacred. It's not a Halloween level. Like, how dare they remake this? You know what I mean? So
I've stayed at enough Holiday Inns to not be enthused by anything named.
But now I feel like
Fair
I need to see it because I want to see how Fred
Astaire.
Fred Astaire and Bing Crosby together because that's not a pairing, one, I would think of, and two, I don't know what that would look like. So I'm
That's the classic Hollywood power duo.
Yeah,
right there.
I'm kind of intrigued to see what that would look like. So maybe I will check it out and report back. And
before we get to the other part, or
no, just in general,
All right.
I'll report back.
So-
On a future episode.
I feel like right now we should just get in some rapid fire.
All right.
Little questions. Give us some answers. No right or wrong answer. It's all a matter of opinion. Did talkies ruin the pictures?
No.
No,
I do like to think that sound came too early, though.
why?
Let me elaborate. Because then the art of cinematography probably would have gone even further without sound coming in and people thinking stuff needed to be explained. I think there would have been a lot more strong visual storytelling before then.
But a lot of silent movies just relied on the cards, right? It was just like someone talking.
Not everybody's Charlie Chaplin and
Yeah.
was a brilliant visual storyteller.
Right. I feel like the majority of movies have always been full of exposition and not an inability to tell a story well.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I think it definitely changed the industry and the actors because a lot of the silent film stars that were adored and like the big heavy hitters, when talkies were first introduced, they discovered that they had thick accents. They couldn't understand what they were saying, or they had really bad voices, and like they couldn't.
Buster Keaton was one
convey.
of those. He had like
So they
a
had a-
very gravelly voice.
Yeah, they had just a pretty face, and I think that's really fascinating because I think so many people just assumed because you could put your own voice to a silent picture, you could imagine whatever you wanted that voice to sound like, and so I definitely think it changed the industry because the heavy hitters just couldn't work anymore. So it definitely changed it out in a very rapid way.
It definitely changed it, but I don't think it ruined it.
No.
Is my thing. So
Well, it's like color. Do you think color changed?
no.
Yeah, that's what I think did that. I think that I'm all good with talking. I think color's what ruined cinema.
You purist. You.
Yeah, I'm an intellectual purist, you know. I'm also, because color is what moved us towards blockbusters. I said it here first, guys. Fuck you, art house crowd. Favorite musical? What?
No.
Favorite musical?
Sweeney Todd.
Ooh, modern.
Calamity Jane.
Oh yes, of course. And I'm gonna say On the Town. Frank Sinatra. Who else was in that?
Gene Kelly.
Gene Kelly.
Jules Munchin.
Jules Munchin. Great movie.
And Vera Ellen.
Vera Ellen.
And Ann Miller.
So good.
I do like Singing in the Rain as well. If we're going to stick with some classic ones, Singing in the Rain is pretty great.
Yeah. Rodgers and Hammerstein or Rodgers and Hart?
Hammerstein. Give me a break.
Yeah, Rogers and
Yeah,
Hammerstein.
Rodgers and Hammerstein. Come on, Hart. Get it together. Fred Astaire or Gene Kelly?
Gene Kelly.
Ooh, that's really tough.
I'm gonna say Gene Kelly as well.
They're
Like
so
like how
different.
low he gets.
Yep.
Yeah, if I had to pick, I guess I would go with Gene Kelly.
Would you?
Yeah, just because Gene Kelly had a lot of energy when he danced, and he danced more uplifting songs. Like Fred Astaire is all about length and waltzing, even though he did a lot of tap.
Yeah, we're not a big fan of the waltz in this house.
But Fred Astaire is very good too.
Which one danced on the wall?
Fred Astaire.
That's right.
The ceiling.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the
Yeah,
thing. This is like picking between, fucking, it's
Caramel and chocolate.
like, yeah, it's like they're both great.
They're both great.
Did I mention I'm hungry?
Bing Crosby or Frank Sinatra?
Ooh, that's tough.
Sinatra, chairman of the board.
I'm
Boom.
going with Sinatra too.
Sinatra, all the way.
We are on the
Well,
same page today.
Because I'll probably also be buried with a bottle of Jack Daniels.
All right. Singing or dancing?
I'm kind of more singing.
I'm gonna go dancing.
I think I can appreciate the singing form more because I just don't know enough about dancing and like knowing what they're expressing via this one thing. But anybody who can dance, fantastic. But me personally, singing.
I'm going to say on the screen, it has to be dancing because when people go crazy with dancing, it's like good. Like if you go crazy with dancing, that's going to be great.
Yeah.
If you go crazy with singing, it's like you get some dog level fucking noises coming out
That's
of the
true.
ladies' mouths. It just gets, you get the Christina Aguilera effect where you're milking all the notes.
Yep.
Like milk and dancing, that's cool. Milk and singing sucks.
True.
Well, and like
Dancing is much more visual.
Well, it's also I like the physicality of it.
Yeah.
How you can move from one area to another very quickly. The noise of it. I mean, just that's what's really interesting.
As opposed to just sitting there and talking, singing.
Yeah.
I took a swing dancing class in college. Most fun class I ever took.
Really?
Great.
More than Biolab?
I mean, we didn't dissect a cat, but we got to spin around.
Wait, in your college you dissected cats?
Yeah, one of the biology classes, they had like cat fetuses that you dissected.
Oh my god. Okay.
What's this episode about again?
Hopefully I'll remember to cut all this out. Annie Get Your Gun or Calamity Jane?
Calamity Jane.
Calamity Jane.
Calamity Jane. You seen Calamity Jane?
No.
Okay.
The historical figure is much more interesting, though.
Fair enough. The movie, me and Emily can test to, is pretty goddamn entertaining.
I will watch
It's
it.
awesome.
I'll check it out.
Musicals, dramas, or comedies?
Both. I like them both if they accomplish what they're set out to do.
I like the comedies.
Comedies. Fuck West Side Story, fuck Chicago, and fuck that other one that has Nicole Kidman in it. I don't remember the name.
Oh,
Moulin
Nine?
Rouge?
Nine. Or Moulin Rouge.
Moulin Rouge.
She's in Nine as well.
And Nine. Comedies. Let's have
But
fun.
a really good musical drama. We're doing one on this podcast. Little All That Jazz action.
We'll see what happens, Kev. I can't promise anything. Oh, I mean, we'll do it, but I can't promise I'll like it. Moderns or the classics?
Classics.
We're talking about musicals here.
Yes.
I think overall the classics they're classics for a reason, but there's some really interesting modern musicals that tweak the format.
Like Les Mis? I'm laughing because Kev hates Les Mis.
I really like
I liked it
It
too.
would have been a million times better if it wasn't Russell Crowe
Yeah.
singing like a
That is
But I
not true.
loved
That is not
Russell Crowe.
true.
He was so bad. I watched on PBS a dress rehearsal of Les Miserables where they just did the songs, none of the blocking, and it was infinitely more compelling than that movie.
I thought Russell
Because the
Crowe
guy
was really
who was
good.
Javert could actually sing.
Classics. Christmas or Easter?
Christmas.
Christmas.
I'm going to say Christmas, but it's ironic we all say Christmas. Were you a Christian?
No. I mean, yeah.
Me and Emily were raised Catholic, and it's like when you look at the fucking what's going on here, it's like Christmas is cool, right? It's where it starts, but like Easter is like the actual point. But no one gave a shit about Easter for me growing up, at least. Easter was all Easter egg hunts and nothing.
You didn't get a day off for Easter. It's
No.
on Sunday. You already had the day off.
It wasn't a holiday time, so
Although I will say, those Easter egg Reese's peanut butter cups.
are
Ah,
so good.
Wow. Plowing through packages.
And I'm partial to the Peeps.
Peeps are like Satan's fucking.
Now they have caramel apple ones where the marshmallow is
Oh,
like
boy.
apple flavored, and they dip it in some caramel.
Oh, my God.
I've yet to have them, but I really want to try one.
That's a
next time.
sin.
Ballet or tap?
Tap.
Tap.
Tap. Is there no business like show business like no business, you know?
Yes? Don't know how to answer that question.
Babe, same question.
Yep.
Indeed. Moving on to what this movie musical edition, if you've seen it, say if you like it or you don't like it or you hate it or you love it or whatever. If you haven't, do you want to see it? Here we go. Easter Parade.
Haven't seen it.
Love it.
Yeah, it's really good. Singing in the Rain.
Great.
Love it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Wizard of Oz.
Good.
It's okay.
It's alright.
It's long.
It's definitely good, and I do like it because it gets kind of fucking scary. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's got some stakes.
It's got some menace behind there. Mary Poppins. What were you gonna say about
I was
Wizard
just
of
gonna
Oz?
say Ray Bolger is the best part of the Wizard of Oz.
Ray Bolger's looking out for Ray Bolger. Interesting. Mary Poppins.
It's good, but it was never a staple at my house.
I really liked it.
I probably have never seen that
The
movie.
Chimney Sweep song alone is so good.
Through this podcast, I'm realizing my mom didn't give a shit about movies. She was never like, "Hey, you should watch this thing. I like it a lot." She was just like, "What? If you want to watch it, we can get it." But like,
Yeah.
like Mary Poppins, like she couldn't give a shit.
We watched a lot of movies in my house because my mom worked at the library, so she would always bring me home movies to
Yeah.
watch, and they had a lot of classics. So, yes, this Mary Poppins was
Very good.
watched in my house.
Moulin Rouge.
I like it.
I really like it.
It's pretty bobo.
I like it.
I like Baz Luhrmann.
I like the
I like Baz Luhrmann.
He's
Fan
so
club.
good.
the Roxanne Tango is a great musical number, no matter what.
Yeah,
So
Sound of Music.
hate it.
I like it.
I like it. I don't love it, but I like it. It's fine.
I read a book on it recently about the making of The Sound of Music, and it's very, very.
What was that one dude? He was drunk every day.
Christopher Plummer.
Christopher Plummer.
Drunk every
To this day says he hates that movie, but he still cashes those checks. So.
Exactly.
But he also did apologize for his bad behavior.
Yeah, and he
Also, I was in Austria where they filmed parts of Sound of
And they
Music.
don't give a shit.
They're just like, we don't know why people come here to look at it, but we'll take your money and show you, like, yeah, that's probably the hill she danced on.
I mean, they all look the same.
They really do. It's so yeah, they begrudgingly accept tourism for Sound of Music.
Hey,
Begrudging.
gotta nuke something. High Society.
Never seen it.
fabulous.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking great.
Who's in that one?
Frank Sinatra, Bing Crosby, Celeste Holm, and Louis Armstrong is in it as well.
Yeah, it's kind of like about being a celebrity. Oh, it's like
No,
they're
it's,
reporting on
they're
people's...
reporting on a marriage, and the ex-husband comes in and kind of wants to try and get the ex-wife back. And
Alright.
there's a reporter who's very self-deprecating, and they kind of just all find themselves by being pushed into different situations. And I don't know, it's very good, and it's a remake of the Philadelphia Story,
I'll check
which
it out.
also has another stellar cast. Both those movies are
Sure.
super good.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
So much fun, but only in a midnight movie setting. Like, I've tried to sit down and just watch that with a group of people. It's like, this movie is just bonkers for bobos. But midnight movies, fantastic.
I've actually never seen it. I think I've seen the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, we need to go see it at midnight. I watched it. I think I've said this on the podcast before. I watched it with my mom, who's like, "Have you heard of this movie?" And I'm like, "Not really." And then we watch it together, and I'm like, "I don't want to be watching this with you."
Yeah.
But
Yeah, every Saturday at the Newark Theater,
Let's
they
go.
do Rocky Horror Picture Show.
let's go. Hairspray.
Not a big fan.
I really liked it when it first came out.
But it has not
but
aged
it
well.
has not aged well. We're talking about the remake of
Yeah,
Hairspray.
not the original one.
Right, with Ricky Lake.
Yeah.
Not that one. The other one with,
John Travolta.
yes. John Travolta was fabulous in that role, but I did watch it recently and, so bad.
Meet Me in St. Louis.
Never seen it.
I love that
Yeah,
one.
it's pretty fantastic.
I'm very partial
Julie
to
Garland?
the
No,
trolley. No, it is Julie
Julie Garland.
Garland. I love the trolley song.
It's that, Martin in The Simpsons sings ding, ding, ding
Yeah.
with the, that's from that.
All right, gotcha.
American in Paris.
Haven't seen it.
Oh, it's fabulous.
Yeah, it's really good. It's not as good as Singing in the Rain, but it's really good.
All right.
Guys and Dolls.
I've never seen the movie, but I've seen stage plays of it and always enjoyed the stage.
High school stage plays? Off Broadway? Off Broadway?
Local civic theater stage plays?
Off Broadway.
Yeah. Very off Broadway. But it is good. It's a fun play.
It's not my favorite, but I do enjoy it. But it's not something I pursue.
I think other movies give me what I want from that movie that I'm not getting from it. Mm-hmm. On the Town.
Haven't seen it.
The best.
It's fabulous.
All right.
Oklahoma.
Never a big fan of it. My mom listened to the soundtrack a lot, and I think it grated on me. So.
I really like it. I think it's one of the best Rodgers and Hammerstein.
I do like it. I think it's good. It's good that the guy who's really rapey is the villain. I'm glad for that.
I would hope so.
Yeah, you'd hope so, right? But you don't know he's got it in life. And then last but not least, certainly not least, The Music Man.
Good. I like it.
Fabulous.
It's fucking fantastic. And the more you watch it, the more you see, because there's these big shots of the whole town, the more you see, like, people just being goofy and acting strange. Oh, what was that one, What My Eyes Tell You?
Bye Bye Birdie.
Bye Bye Birdie. What do you think about that?
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Dude, it's fucking awesome. There's a guy who's supposed to be like Elvis in it. Like, he's like a rock
It's a
star.
parody of Elvis going to...
Dude, it's so
war.
good. There's like so many.
good.
I'm behind on my classic musicals, in case you couldn't tell.
Yeah, it's all good.
I'll just go
let's-
down that list and start watching.
Let's catch you up by watching this movie, White Christmas, right now. Here we go.
Here we go.
Yay!
And we're back.
We're back.
Yay!
White Christmas, you guys. Kev, how'd you see it?
Netflix. Watched it a couple days ago. Spread it out over a couple days.
Spread it out over a couple of days,
Because
huh?
usually on my lunch break, I'll watch maybe half a movie and then go home and watch the other half.
Interesting.
Oh.
But,
Interesting.
So yeah, it took
Insane.
a night and a half a day to get through it. So, but I watched it.
Kev, Kev, that was you. M,
Yes?
how did we watch it?
We also watched on Netflix.
Yeah.
In one sitting,
There you go.
after dinner.
I mean, I would have happily done it in one sitting if that was an option. So
Oh, good.
there you go. It's not like I split it up because whatever
Okay.
circumstance.
That makes me feel better.
Circumstance.
Okay, good.
So in terms of what happens in this movie, on Christmas Eve 1944, somewhere in Europe, 2 army soldiers, one a Broadway entertainer, Captain Bob Wallace, Bing Crosby, and an aspiring entertainment, Private Davis, Danny Kaye, are singing Christmas Eve, like I just said. They're singing for their 151st Division. Word has come down that their beloved commanding officer, Major General Thomas Waverly, is being relieved of the command. He arrives for the end of the show and delivers an emotional farewell. They give him a send-off before being attacked. Danny Kaye saves Bing Crosby's life. I will not refer to the character names because I do not remember them. And
they're basically playing Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye.
indeed,
Exactly.
indeed they are. Danny Kaye asks Bing Crosby, "Hey, can we do something together?" After the war, they become a successful duo, playing in nightclubs on the radio, and then make it to Broadway in a delicious montage that shows all of this hilariously. Danny Kaye always pointing to his arm when he wants something because he was injured saving Bing Crosby's life. That's how it works, kid. If you save someone's life, they owe you forever.
Just like Chewbacca.
That's why firemen are so rich.
Social commentary. Continue.
A couple of years later, they go to a club to watch an act. 2 sisters, Judy and Betty. Phil notices that Bob is smitten with Betty, and Phil is smitten for her sister, Judy. Betty and Judy are heading for the Columbia Inn in Pine Tree, Vermont, where they are booked to perform for the holidays. Our boys follow. Hilarity the whole time. When they arrive, they find no snow. Phil and Bob discover that the inn is run by their former commanding officer, General Waverly. Waverly has invested all of his savings into the lodge, which is in danger of failing because there has not been any snow. And, as such, no guests.
Nobody's skiing.
Nobody skiing. Apparently, you need snow to ski. I am not.
Believe it or not.
I am not a skier, so I'll take that.
Unless you're my grandpa and you own a pair of rock skis.
I don't
so
wanna-
that when there's hardly any snow, you can still go ski.
That makes me so frustrated. You don't even understand. So, Bob and Phil bring their entire cast and crew to the musical that they're currently doing called Playing Around. They add Betty and Judy in, and they bring everyone up, and they start rehearsing at the place to bring in a bunch of money, which it naturally does as they bring up 100+ people. Bob and Betty's relationship blooms, and they spend a good deal of time together working on the material. Mistakenly believing the general will be portrayed as a pitiable figure in a nationwide broadcast that is actually not going to happen, Betty grows suddenly cold towards a baffled Bob and leaves the production. Goes to New York, takes a job, bails on her sister, bails on her friend, bails on her on and off boyfriend, or I don't know what they are. It's complicated. Facebook. Bob goes on a broadcast of a popular late night show. He invites the veterans of the 151st Division to come to Pine Tree, Vermont on Christmas Eve to celebrate their general and make him feel wanted. He has just been rejected from the army because he wanted to re-enlist as his business was failing, and they said, go kick rocks. Nicely, they said it. But
this is the 50s. They were nice.
It depends on who you were. Betty catches Bob's televised pitch and realizes that she was mistaken. She returns to the Pine Tree Inn just in time for the Christmas Eve show. When the general enters the lodge, he is greeted by his former division, who sing a rousing chorus, "Snow Falls." Bob and Betty declare their love for each other. So do Judy and Phil. White Christmas.
That's the summary. That's very succinct.
Also, credit to Wikipedia, which I took liberally from to formulate this.
All credit to Wikipedia, always.
John Wikipedia. So, I feel like I was very negative in our opening. So let me just say, this movie opened. The first frame of this movie is filmed in glorious VISTAVISION or whatever. I'm gonna say I was a little bit hard on that concept. I do like the widescreen process, even though it's a gimmick, just like sound, just like color, just like 3D. I do like widescreen. So maybe I was a little bit harsh on widescreen. They hadn't figured it all out yet.
Widescreen's been around a long time now. 3D has lived and died. Lots of other shit has lived and
Yeah,
died.
but we gotta
Widescreen.
get rid of this sound and this color.
Yeah. Widescreen's looking good. I love widescreen.
So I mean, normally I say, hey guys, what do you think about this movie? Let me just continue really quick, if you don't mind, because I was down on this movie, and approximately 1 minute in, I realized I was wrong. And it was when Bing is singing "White Christmas" is the first song of the fucking show, and it's very haunting, and it's not about garbagey nostalgia, and it's not about American superiority. It's not about anything political. They're in war. It fucking sucks. They have a backdrop of a lovely Vermont vista, and then you zoom out, and it's like they're in war-torn. They're in a city that's fallen over, literally. And they're singing. Basically, he's singing of a time in life when he's happy because they are all fucking miserable fighting a war, and
They just want to go home.
they just want to go home, and they're dealing with a harsh and disturbing reality, punctuated by the fact that once the general drives away, fucking bombs start going off, and everyone has to duck for cover for fear of death. Mm-hmm. So I think what I was upset about is that I don't like bad Christmas movies, and I don't like bad people who value Christmas for what it isn't, not what it is. Like, there's this idea that Christmas is perfection that other people are ruining. And what's going on in this movie is that Christmas is just a nice time of the year that is punctuatedly different from the theater of war. So, my bad.
Apology
You've
accepted.
atoned. That's good. You gotta man up to really
Right.
to admit you were misspoken.
Well, it's just the people who love this movie and a movie like with the bells and every time the angel gets his wings.
Oh,
It's a Wonderful Life.
Right. There's a level of like
You should have said
idol worship
with the bells and the suicide. Which one is that?
Yeah, which one is that one?
That's right.
There's a level of like, oh, that's such a great thing, and it stands for all this stuff that I believe in. And it's like these movies are just what they are, right? And they're either beautiful or they aren't, or they resonate with you, they don't. So, spoiler alert, I really like this movie. Kev? Wait, you want to do Kev or you want to do you?
Do Emily next.
Emily? Any initial thoughts?
Well, I love this movie, and I love the beginning of the movie. I think it's beautiful. I think that it is very heartwarming, the song that they sing to the general. And just the facial expressions of the soldiers that are there, because a lot of them are very young, and then the general's sitting there looking at them, and he always, you know, from the onset of the film that he has their best interests at heart, and that they will be losing somebody who has their back.
Yes.
In that, and that he loves them, and they love him, obviously, and that's very much expressed. And I've always loved that song. It's always been one of my 3 favorites of this movie.
Of this movie.
Of this movie.
Are you talking about the Fall of the Old Man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just, I think that it's so, it's very heartfelt.
I mean, it's very heartfelt, and there's a hilarious moment where, and again, it plays, well, I'll get into this later with the theme of the movie, but it's like, you know, a bunch of bullets fly, and everyone stops singing, and then they start whisper singing. And it's just like, I laughed out loud at that. As I jotted down in my notes, I was wrong about this movie. Kev, initial thoughts.
The first scene of this movie is great. It's very heartbreaking. But it feels like the climax to the movie I really want to see. And that's these 2 guys trying to entertain their way through World War II.
Interesting. So,
And then after it is kind of a ditzy, inoffensive showbiz comedy. And then kind of Christmas tacked on at the end. So, that first scene set me up for really wanting to see a different movie. Like, I think that's the last scene of a really great, profound comedy, war, musical, longing for home film. But then it's kind of this inoffensive comedy afterwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
it is an inoffensive comedy, that's for sure. But I guess what I would say, it's the best version of that, of like a 50s inoffensive comedy, where like the dialogue is sharp, the characters are charming, the drama is good, there's a nostalgia without being sappy, there's like, you know, it's about Bing and his girl. Weir Allen?
No, Rosemary Clooney.
It's about Rosemary Clooney and Bing, and the other two there are just there for the comedy, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's dedicated to being a comedy. It's not a drama, and it's not really trying to be a drama. Whereas some things like this kind of dip into melodrama, and nothing comes to mind off the top of my head. But this is like, no, we're a comedy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But
it's low stakes.
Yes. But
it's
that's
like,
what I
we
like
have
about
no snow. And like, yeah, I'm not saying every movie needs to be this dour
life
thing or
yeah.
life or death. It's like, yeah, our main conflict can be we don't have any snow. That's fine. You know. But I just, that beginning scene just showed me so much potential and got a lot of ideas in my head. It's like, that could have been a really great story.
Right.
And call it White Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And the climax is Bing Crosby singing White Christmas in that buttery voice of his.
Mm. You just put that on toast.
You can spread it on pancakes, that voice.
Just butter up that biscuit, butter up that bacon.
Ugh.
Dad, my heart hurts.
I do think that there's low stakes, but that is what I like out of my musicals. Like, I like musicals that have no stakes. Like, that specifically. On the Town.
You're gonna love all that jazz.
But, like, On the Town, like, my favorite musical, right? It's like, the stakes of the thing is, are we gonna have a good time tonight? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I like.
And again, that's perfectly fine. It's
Right.
Just, yeah.
But that movie certainly doesn't have an opening number that has its own little movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, that works as a short film, practically. That
right.
opening scene.
I mean, we can't I don't want to talk about this opening scene forever, but it does. I mean, it is a masterful opening scene where he rolls up. He rolls up with the new general. The new general is all spick and span. Our dude's jacket doesn't fit. He's all dirty, and he's just like the boys.
He's
right?
been in the shit.
He's been in the shit. He has a limp, the old general is like, what are these guys doing? They should be in bed. And it's like, it's Christmas Eve, and he sends them off, and he kind of tells the driver, like, hey, take the shortcut home, which is the long way. And he's like, that private will be a...
That sergeant will be a private in the morning.
And he's like, yo, we could all be so lucky. And it's like, it so sets up the ideas that are going to be paid off later of, like, community and sacrifice and doing the right thing and, being there for people and all that. That opening scene is just great. But yeah, you feel like the movie didn't live up to it?
Well, it kind of sets such a good tone, and then it's just this very silly, very... there's the Sisters Act, and then Bing Crosby and what's his name, they do the Sisters Act, and it's all very funny, and it's all...
Because men dressing up as women, could you think of more of a lark?
It's so wild. Bing Crosby looks so uncomfortable in that scene.
And Danny Kaye's like, yeah, I kind of like this.
Danny Kaye's playing off it like, I'm going to ham it up, and
oh my god,
we're
it
going to
was
be all right.
so awesome.
Also, I want to talk like Danny Kaye. In real life, I want to talk like Danny Kaye does in the movies.
Yeah.
Because he's a fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And this movie's very... I mean, did you like the wit in the movie?
I'm more in tune with movies like His Girl Friday when it comes to that really old school wit. I feel like this one, they've kind of seen those movies and know it, but they don't have that sharp enough, back and forth in it. I feel it feels a little bit on the spot, like they're kind of making it up as they go. I mean, they're probably not, but the jokes don't quite land the same way something like His Girl Friday would, I think. I mean, it's fun banter, but it's not the best banter I've ever heard in my life.
Me and Emily were popping when they were doing the scene where they're changing and passing each other stuff after they perform. Every other line we were cracking up, there's that and that scene is very physical, and there's a really cool
There's a lot of movement in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
They use the widescreen really well.
They
We
do use
paid,
the
all,
widescreen.
we paid all this money for it, see?
We need to show
Do it
it.
in every shot.
That's really interesting because so much of this movie, not to interrupt, but so much of this movie is medium shots, not close-ups or far aways, and it's
they're showing off the set. They're showing everything.
They're showing off that wide screen, which is interesting because it's usually when things are just medium, it feels very amateurish. Like when kids try to make their first movie, every shot's a medium shot and it looks like shit.
Yeah.
But so that's kind of interesting that it's every shot's that's why, because they wanted to show off everything in the frame.
Mm-hmm. And they wanted to show. Really, I bet they would wanted to show the technology.
Yeah.
Because it's brand new. It's the first film in VISTAVISION. You don't make that.
And we can see Dean throwing his shoe to...
Yep.
Right. I mean, you use it. It's just like, when 3D first came out, when everybody was trying to do anything they could to show off the technology.
Everything's flying out of that
Yeah,
screen.
and it maybe it didn't make sense to the film or anything like that, but you want to show it off.
The movie that is the most like that in the history of the universe, the double feature of Jaws 3D and Friday the 13th in 3D.
Yep.
And Friday the 13th 3D has never been released in 3D. Paramount, shame on you.
Shame.
Need that 3D Blu-ray copy.
Yep.
Need it. I really hate that movie. White Christmas.
But I think I was in the right frame of mind. We just had the Paris attacks last week.
As of this recording, that terrorist attack is very fresh in everyone's mind.
Yeah, and so I think that it fit what I wanted, because the entire reason why I really got into musicals is because September 11th happened, and I lost my shit. I could not concentrate on anything. I needed something that was going to be just for me to enjoy. I needed it to be pure entertainment. I didn't want any stakes. So when you were talking, Kevin, and saying they didn't have any stakes, I'm like, fine with me.
We both have the same taste in musicals, where Jets versus Sharks, too much stakes.
I didn't want any.
I don't want anybody to scratch.
Right. It was exactly what I needed. And so I think that's why I really enjoyed it, and I always enjoy it because. Sometimes, the holidays get you a little down.
Yeah.
And, there's a little bit too much sentimentality everywhere. And, I just saw a commercial for a Glade candle.
We talked about that on the podcast.
And I cried. And it was terrible.
Yeah.
I don't remember. What episode was that? Is that Black Christmas?
Is it Black? I thought it was this one.
Maybe it was just no, because Emily wasn't here for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's Black Christmas where
Yeah,
the
most
fucking
likely.
Glade
But
commercial.
there was a Glade commercial.
At the end of his Glade, slit your wrists.
And it was so sad, and I cried over it for 20 minutes. So, you know, when that's the fanfare of the time period, and
Yeah.
like the time, the seasonal time, I'm plenty okay with
All
just
right.
having a fun time.
And that's perfectly okay. I'm never gonna shun a movie because it's a fun time.
Right?
You know.
Did you like Danny Kaye? Did you like Bing?
Oh yeah, Bing. I mean, Bing is classic. You know, that voice is great, but he's good at playing Bing Crosby. But Bing Crosby's an interesting character. You know, it's not just like he's not like late era Frank Sinatra where he's kind of just farting through it. You know, he's actually like invested in it.
Yeah.
Danny Kaye is obviously he's playing off that. He's very energetic. He is very witty, and he just looks like an old movie star, you know? He couldn't be anything but the funny guy in a 50s comedy. Like, he just has that look.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I enjoy the performances. The sisters are both good, especially Rosemary Clooney.
Yeah.
Overall.
I have a soft spot for Vera Ellen because
What else has she been in?
she's been in On the Town.
Okay.
She was in a couple other Three Girls in New York or something like that, and she's a ballet dancer primarily. She's not a singer. She's a ballet dancer.
Gotcha.
So she's very good at that, and I really like her. But this I will say that this time I did notice her thinness. I've never really
She's very
noticed
skinny.
her. I mean, I knew that she was thin, yes, but like her legs, her thighs were a little bit alarming to me in this viewing of it.
Yeah,
because
eat a sandwich, Vera Ellen.
I was not prepared for the thinness of the thighs.
They had some skinny waist and some skinny thighs back in the 50s. So.
Yeah. But I always think she's really cute, and I think that she's a good actress, and I liked her and Phil's relationship. They were obviously, again, no stakes. Like there was a little drama, but nothing that we were worried about.
But it's very silly.
Yeah, it was
very
silly drama
silly.
where we weren't concerned at all. It was just, again, to further the Betty and Bob plot.
Yeah.
A little bit more.
Well, speaking of the plot, you know, traditionally in a musical, a musical number is a substitution for a bunch of things happening in the movie, right? Like, two people will meet, and then they'll start singing about their relationship and this and that, and then it kind of moves the story along. This movie specifically really doesn't have that at all.
No.
There's a couple of songs. I mean, there's a couple of songs that do that fit into the plot of the movie. When Bing is singing about what happens to a general, that is him explaining that to the TV audience of the movie. But like for the most part, every song and dance number is just an arbitrary song and dance number.
Yeah.
Did you guys like that? I mean, there's no I want song, right? Everyone kind of has what they want when the movie starts. They think whatever they want. They really want love, but no one has a song about how they want love. No one has that frame of mind to know that kind of a thing.
That's true. There is not, because I was gonna say maybe it's the Count Your Blessings song that Bing sings to Rosemary Clooney, but that's not about their relationship. That just is like a expose on how great he is and how thoughtful and kind he is, and that's why she loves him.
Right, and Bing wants a girl, but doesn't think it's like he's gonna be able to do it. And what's his face wants to get him a girl because he wants to get other girls.
I mean, I guess
for the sex, but they both end up falling in love. Imagine that.
Right.
And there's no song about I want to get a bunch of girls, but really I want love.
No, there is no I Want song. That's an interesting point.
But here's the thing about all those songs.
Yes.
They stop the plot dead in its tracks every single time one of them comes on. And for this movie, it's kind of okay. Because the plot is just, it's flimsy as is. But yeah, we're going to have these...
Is it flimsy or is it just super simple?
It's super simple, stretched to its absolute breaking point. We spent a lot of time in that lodge not doing a whole lot.
We're eating sandwiches. Homie, it's cold.
And buttermilk and, yeah, worrying about trees and stuff.
Yeah.
And reminiscing about being an old general and doing Bob Fosse dances. So... but yeah, and the songs, in a lot of musicals, the songs push the plot forward, like you were saying, in a way that characters would say exposition or do something. In this movie, it doesn't do that.
No, we're having a ballet
And
because
if you like, yeah, if you like the songs, great. You get to see these extended musical numbers, sometimes twice, i.e. the Sisters Act.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
You see that 3 times. So twice with the
Yep.
sisters and then once with dudes. But, yeah, they don't push any of the plot forward. And for a certain viewer, that might just absolutely kill this movie.
Like Kevin.
I didn't hate it, but yeah,
So it didn't kill it, but it kind of gave it a limp.
it's kind of, that might be why it took me 2 days to watch this
Yeah.
thing. So,
I would say the only song that even approaches the realm of
Traditional.
furthering the plot is The Best Things Happen While You're Dancing.
Where they're...
Where
Let's
Phil and Vera
Yeah, it's
are
about them
dancing.
falling in love.
It's
Yep.
about them falling in love.
Yeah, that's true.
It's about them like forging a relationship because their relationship will obviously have an effect on Rosemary Clooney and Bing Crosby's relationship. And then the other song that again I think it's a stretch, but the Will Follow the Old Man because
No,
that
that's not a
comes up-
stretch.
It comes up again,
Yeah.
and that's really the theme is that we will do anything for him.
No, yeah, that's not a stretch. I mean, that song, it's contextually, it's not paying off right away. It pays
No.
off like an hour later.
Yeah.
But it's the idea that they split away from him and then they find him and then like, we'll help you out because, we'll follow you wherever you go. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's like, I don't think that's a stretch. I think it's just not done in a traditional way of like, we'll follow you wherever you go. So you're leaving the army, so we're going AWOL. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. All of this movie is on sets. None of this is like in any actual real space. Is that charming or is that lame?
in certain parts, it's better than others. I think in the war scene it works, although you can still kind of tell if it's
You
a
can
set.
kind of tell, but it feels very stylized in a
stylized.
positive way.
in a 50s movie kind of
Right.
way. The stuff in the lodge, the proportions of that stage are all over the place. And yeah, somebody missed a measurement because certain shots it's like this lodge is just kind of a cozy little lodge, and then they have like this Broadway level stage on it in different shots, and there's a
Well,
disconnect.
that's because we don't vacation in Vermont. Every Vermont, every hotel in Vermont has a Broadway style stage in it.
That
just in case.
Yeah, can accommodate all their actors and all their trucks and all that.
Yeah, and 350 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Right.
Vermont.
Vermont.
Well, it's interesting because that it is on sound stages because it's in VISTAVISION, Vista landscape, and you don't have any landscapes to play with. It's like Sound of Music should be on VISTAVISION because you're seeing the Alps, you're seeing the sets.
Lawrence
You
of
know,
Arabia.
Right, like you're seeing
traditionally,
you're
yeah.
seeing landscapes, and so it's interesting that this is the first choice.
It's what the
something-
Avatar wrote, where it's like we could do 3D, so let's just do it all digitally,
Yep.
and not actually go to a fucking mountain.
Well, exactly. So I mean, I think that's kind of interesting. I did like the lodge though, like the interior.
It's a nice looking lodge.
It's a nice looking lodge. That is a beautiful, beautiful lodge. And I don't know if they constructed it, if such a space existed. I have no idea.
I
But
guarantee you that was a set in a studio
yeah.
in LA.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Well, then somebody put in a lot of effort that
Yep.
I appreciated.
There you go. I mean, it's a fine looking lodge.
In Die Hard and in this movie, Emily, you pointed out in Die Hard, Kev, that this happens, and you pointed out in this movie this happens, where there's the Follow Your Old Man song in the beginning, and then when things get sad, there's a instrumental version of that song slowed down. Is that in like every movie, and I've just never noticed that my whole life?
I think it's a trope that can be. It's a way to play with a theme and a score, you know. I'm going to use Lord of the Rings for an example. You bastard. The Fellowship theme, the dun da 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 da. When you first hear it, it's like on 2 instruments, so they're like just forming. When it's all 9 of them, it's this big thing. When they break up, it's like a different key, a couple instruments slowed down. Same melody, but it's telling the story. Basically.
Kevin, that's beautiful.
You're goddamn right it is.
That's beautiful. Oh my god, I love it.
Fuck yeah, it's beautiful.
Good times.
But yeah, it's that. I mean, that's a very common movie trope, I think. And yeah, it worked in Die Hard, it worked in White Christmas, it worked in Lord of the Rings. It works.
And I only notice it when I know the material well enough to be able to hear it. I think I do it a lot with musicals. They do it a lot in musicals.
Yeah.
Because I can identify the songs.
It's called
so
a reprise.
It's
Yeah. Where they
nice.
bring something back to tell. They do it a lot in Sweeney Todd too, where
Oh.
you'll have this new song, but then like one verse will be a song that was from the beginning, and he'll feel something when he was doing the song the first time. So it's an interesting technique that is used well in this one, is used well in that. It's used well throughout movie history.
Agreed.
What's your favorite musical number from this movie, if one even exists?
I mean, the first White Christmas is really hard to beat.
I think empirically, yes. Science-wise, yeah, that's the best song in the movie.
But the two-man sisters routine is pretty funny.
That's a good one.
And then the last, there's the I Want to Be in the Army.
Mm-hmm.
That one's pretty good. Good little satirical number. And then the last song for the General is good. I can't remember what.
Oh yeah, the Will Follow the Old Man.
Yes.
The reprise.
When they do it again.
Yeah. I like the choreography number just because that's at the point where the movie's just like, fuck it.
So they had Bob Fosse did the choreography for the dances.
Bob Fosse.
All That Jazz, Chicago. He's a very famous choreographer.
Yes.
So. And director of films. One of them, All That Jazz. What we're going to do on this podcast.
Yeah, coming up.
Okay, I like the Will Follow the Old Man, obviously. I get a couple. And then I also really
That's
like...
it, moving on.
No! And then I really liked the Best Things Happen While You're Dancing. Because it's very cute. The dancing is amazing. The choreography is very good. I love them swinging around the poles.
Yeah.
Like, he gets some height. And
They do.
it's very good.
There's also, not to interrupt you, but there's
Yeah.
also some very intricate dancing in this movie that looks absolutely effortless.
Yes.
That is like, it's a guy, there's a point where a guy's like dancing on a set of stairs, like he's like jumping backwards.
Yep.
And it's like,
He's jumping back and up.
yeah. And it's like, if he slips, he's gonna fall not only down on a bunch of stairs, which is gonna hurt, but he's gonna proceed to roll down 2 flights of stairs. So
Yep.
it's like,
And
holy
he's
shit.
smiling. His face is not moving.
Mm-hmm.
Like, his body is completely in the same position, and he's just moving his legs to get himself up.
right. And then Vera Ellen jumps down the flight of stairs and gets caught by a bunch of dudes standing on the steps, which, like, obviously they've rehearsed it and whatever, but it's like, her smile is big, and if they drop her, she will die. So it's just like crazy. She doesn't have enough mass to take the impact.
Yep. That element of danger.
Yeah.
And I've remembered one other one because I'm a sucker for vocal harmonies. Snow. That's a good music.
That was a
number, too.
really cute one. Oh, and I also really liked the sisters one, the female.
Yeah, the original sisters.
The original sisters.
It's cute.
It's so cute.
You know what's interesting? They've never released an official soundtrack for this movie.
What? Really?
Never have.
Because
Never
they
have.
don't need to, because they make enough money on just White Christmas
Apparently.
alone.
Yep.
So, this movie is a fun romp, and we're entertaining people and nonsensical music numbers. But what do we think this movie is actually about? Like, what's the theme? What's the point?
I have a hard time feeling this is a Christmas movie. I feel it's Christmas for one scene, and then at the end, and then everything in the middle has nothing to do with Christmas. And I just don't get why it's a Christmas classic. Like, it could be a musical classic, but it doesn't say a whole lot about Christmas. It doesn't really even take place during Christmas for large chunks of it.
but it takes place in the week rolling up to Christmas. It ends on Christmas Eve. I don't think Christmas is an idea in the movie. You know what I mean? It's like that idea of, a better time or whatever.
True.
So it's not.
But I don't feel
It's no Miracle on 31st Street where it's about Santa Claus. You know what I mean?
But I just don't feel it's ever explored except in a couple scenes.
Mm-hmm. Also, a real lack of Christmas decorations all around.
Yeah, I was gonna say there are no Christmas decorations in the lodge leading up to the event. Like, nobody's really
Unlike
worried.
Black Christmas, which is dripping with fucking Christmas shit.
That frumpy lady who runs the lodge, she just needs to find somebody to blame. for no
The
Christmas
housekeeper?
thing.
Oh, she's
She
hilarious.
was so funny.
She always has somebody else to blame for shit she fucked up.
She take she fucked up. All right, go ahead, Em.
I think it's about loyalty. I think it's about camaraderie in the military. I think it's about transitioning from a wartime to a peacetime, and how sometimes people can get lost in the shuffle and they don't know how to re-enter society,
Or there's no place for them.
or that they feel there's no place for them.
Mm-hmm.
I think the general exhibits that completely.
Yeah.
And
Is this movie just an old remake of The Hurt Locker?
Well, it traveled back in time and
exactly.
remade their
Yeah.
No, I do think you're right. I think I'm agree with both of you. I think it's not about Christmas, Kev. I don't think it's about Christmas. I think it is about hope in the cost of war. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? How these guys are lucky because they're talented and they were able to like really make something of their lives. But the general, who was this, had all the power in the army, once he got the boot from the army, he goes back in the real world and has no power and doesn't really fit in anymore, and no one has any use for him. So it feels they proved that wrong, but it's dealing with that element of it. You know what I mean? And I think it's also about like sacrifice. Like in the beginning, the sergeant will be a private by winter or by the end of the day or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So it's just about, and then they sacrifice for him by spending a bunch of money to help him out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's about like solidarity. And it's interesting because I wonder if White Christmas, if that song hadn't have been so iconic and it hadn't have grown to such large proportions, one, would this movie ever be remembered? And two, would it be thought of as a Christmas classic? Because if the song isn't enduring, what do you have?
Well,
I mean, I love this movie, but
I think this movie has been bolstered by people who sweetheart Christmas into this, like, again, like the thing I always say, a perfect ideal or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I think my interpretation of the movie is its ability to come back from war, and I think probably to a generation who did fight in that war, this movie was very resonant with them. It's a fun movie that's really about something that's really dark. But I think ultimately it's the idea about being able to reinvent yourself and change with, and deal with the change in your identity.
Uh-huh.
So on that level, I mean, it's a relatable movie on that sense. But yeah, it's because people have this reverence for Christmas, and they adopt it, like, because like it's like it's like Nirvana thing, right? It's like you like the song, but you don't know what it means. So it's like in the context of the movie, the song isn't about how great Christmas is this specific way. It's just about thinking about any time that you cherish more than the time that you're in now, and dealing with adversity. So to answer your question, no, I don't think if this song wasn't as popular, this movie would have endured. It's endured, I think, because people have like forced their thing on it. That being said, I think it's a great movie.
yeah. Oh, no, I completely agree.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking.
If it's really about the general, I think you could excise a lot of scenes in this movie and really streamline it about make the general more the main character.
But I think if the general's the main character, then it would be a drama. You know what I mean? Because
you can still have it be fun. You can still have that element to it.
Did you have to become a funny character?
No, he doesn't have to be funny. That Bing and Danny Kaye, they can do that. Mm-hmm. They can carry that load. But yeah, if you really streamline it and make it about the general and his arc and his redemption in a way, again, a low stakes redemption, but a redemption that yes, he does mean something to people, then I think you have a stronger film. And I still want to see that World War II movie with two entertainers trying to entertain their way through the war. But I think there's something that can be cut out and really, the general feels like he should be a much bigger part of it, and I feel he's kind of around,
I just think this is an interesting movie because it's shot in the 50s, right?
Yes, 54.
And it's like at the same time this movie's coming out, you have like cowboy John Wayne making movies like the Green Berets and stuff about how glorious the war is and how he just went over there and just kicked a bunch of ass. And I feel like this movie, while a comedy, while very goofy, while having nonsensical music numbers, does deal with this idea of like coming back from war and not really having a place to be, which is very mature theme-wise.
Sure.
And I think that's an interesting juxtaposition that both of those things exist in the same time, especially a time that we view as very simple and very rah-rah America and very this, that, and the other thing. And it's like that time, I feel like this movie reveals that time to be more like our time now, where you have a variety of opinions being shown in a variety of ways they're being shown, right? I think this movie talked about something serious in the guise of a comedy, etc. Whereas, what's it called? John Wayne movies are just about how great we all are and how much we do things.
Agreed.
Do we have any nitpicks on this movie?
Kevin
Couple.
might.
Got a couple.
Go.
Line I really hate is when he's like, I think that's a tactical error. I was like, fuck you. That's the stupidest line.
M?
Nothing that I can think of.
I also have no nitpicks for this movie.
Geez, I'm just Grinch over here. So, that was kind of the one that really stuck out. Again,
Such a Grinch with your one nitpick.
but again, the stage, it's like, that stage is huge, that lodge is small. It's so obviously not the same set, and then the way the camera and the editing works, it's like, it's very obvious that this place is completely disconnected from the actual lodge. So,
And I think that the only reason why it works is because there's such fantastical dance numbers anyways, because those are not numbers that are connected with the rest of the film at all. I
true.
think that if they were something that furthered the plot in some even a small way, that would be less believable. But because they're so like weird and like nouveau and like artsy, and especially the choreography one, that at least I don't mind it as much. But yes, I completely agree with you.
Moments of awesome. Does anyone want to share any? I'll go first. It opens with a shot of a New England landscape in the form of a banner, ends with that same landscape, but, supposedly real and the real thing.
great opening shot.
Right. I love how when they're singing to the general and then the gunfire breaks out and they all start whispering the song, again, a very silly way to deal with a very real fear of being killed in the theater of war. Anyone else have anything?
Danny Kaye is awesome.
Danny Kaye is awesome.
The general is pretty. The general
Handsome
is
man.
so pretty. He's so pretty.
Just that
That-
touch of gray.
That haircut is sharp.
Tight and right. Just
But
the
like,
way I
I
like
love
it.
his little winks and his. Oh, he's just so cute. Okay, Kev.
I like that the daughter in the lodge is not played for really cutesy stuff. She's very grounded in reality and is helpful to her grandpa.
Yes.
So she's not. There's that tendency to be like Shirley Temple, and she'd just be like, "I work at the lodge, boop boop boop," but she's not that at all.
Or Gross, where someone falls in love with her even though she's like 15.
Bing Crosby would just hit her. So.
Gotta take it there, Kev. This is moments of awesome. You had your time.
That's true.
I like how the wit is super witty. Like, there's a quote, "How can a guy that ugly have the nerve to have sisters? Very brave parents, I guess." So good. And the housekeeper, she's like, well, like any good housekeeper, I was listening on the other line. Love that. I also like how when they get there, they're instantly down to help the general, and they're not like a pussyfoot thing of like, should or shouldn't we, or whatever, wherever, you know what I mean? Any regret that they have is played off for humor, where, Bing is ordering everyone to come up, and Danny Kaye's like, how much is it going to cost? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool, and then we're moving on. It's like, they don't do annoying, stupid stuff that makes the character unlikable, where one guy's obsessed with money and the other guy's obsessed with this and that. You know what I mean? It just gets like, okay, move on. I don't know.
Well, no, everybody was extremely likable. Even Rosemary Clooney, when she is, I guess she is the only, dumb character, because she does something we don't...
She's pretty dumb.
She does something we don't like, and she's wrong
Right.
in her
And the way it's written,
actions.
yeah, and the way it's written, one short conversation, hey, are we going to do this on TV? No. The whole movie, there's no conflict in this movie now.
Right, and then she learns the error of her ways very quickly in ways the audience already know that she's wrong, but we don't have, there's just, everybody's very nice.
Yeah.
So it's very just enjoyable to watch.
Indeed. In the end, do you like this movie? Does it work? Kevin?
I would doubt I'll ever watch it again, but it does work. I think it does stand the test of time. It has memorable moments, and to a certain audience, this is exactly the kind of movie you need. It just, again, everybody's nice, not a lot of stakes, good music, good dancing, it'd be a good movie to have on while you're wrapping presents. I'd say that much. So,
I
Same question.
love it.
Do you like it and does it work?
I love it, and it does work.
I also like it. I think it works. I was pleasantly surprised. And I feel like this is a movie that I would like to share with people. I think it, like It's a Wonderful Life, is not the movie that everyone says it is. It is not that movie.
that DVD cover is like, this is going to be a Christmas extravaganza, and it's not. So, they're all in red coats, and it's snowing, and they're all got their books, and they're singing.
Christmas tree.
Yeah, it's like, that's not that movie.
There's only one Christmas tree.
Yep.
And it's the Christmas tree that's in the photo on the cover.
Yep.
Oh, man. Crazy fan theory or a sequel pitch? Anyone want to provide us with some?
Well, I would say that Kev has a prequel pitch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you do have a prequel
I have
pitch.
my prequel pitch. That's the movie I really want to see.
You don't say.
As I have said in
And we'll-
this very recording.
And we'll continue to say.
Yeah.
For years to come.
There's a story there.
Here's my sequel pitch. It's a remake. I've been on a remake kick lately with these. Remake. Modern day. No. Same period movie. Same setting. Cast Joey Jojo himself, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, my boy Joey Jojo, Channing Tatum, that's Bing and Danny Kaye respectively, and then the girls would be Emma Stone and Shailene Woodley. Call me Hollywood. Let's get this movie made. Green lights. Also, the only other change I'd make to it is a lot more Christmas accoutrement here and there and everywhere.
That lodge was a little spare.
I would also be open to making the lodge in a different place other than Vermont. I'm not attached to
Idaho, perhaps?
Idaho, Colorado, Big Bear. I'm not attached to any particular place. You can make it ironic and make it like somewhere ironic. I don't know.
Nevada?
Nevada. Yeah. They got mountains in Nevada with snow.
They
on them,
do.
right?
They do.
Yeah.
Like Texas.
Yeah.
A snowy lodge in Texas.
Come on, you guys would watch that. If this movie had Joseph Gordon-Levitt and fucking Channing Tatum and Emma Stone and Shailene Woodley, you'd watch it.
About the most likable cast you could possibly have.
That's what I was going for.
There you go.
Although I don't know if Shailene Woodley and Emma Stone really look like sisters.
Throw in some George Takei and everybody will be set.
Oh, that's the general.
He could be the
Okay,
general.
wait, no, but that doesn't make any sense for the period.
Yeah, not too many Japanese generals in the American Army.
In World War II.
In World War II. They were all in camps.
We might have to make this a steampunk thing, but we'll figure it out. It's Earth 2.
In an alternate universe where people of minority were treated properly.
Yeah, and they're fighting orcs.
Yep. All right.
Oh, I like this pitch better.
Sounds
It'll
good.
be an ostensive remake. Ostensive.
Great.
All right. Well, that's it for this episode. Please come back. Join us next episode. Follow us on Twitter at Speaking Cinema. We are on Stitcher, iTunes. Rate, review, subscribe. Listen to Jibber. Any plugs? Kevin? M?
Nope.
You all have a Merry Christmas. This is coming out around that time.
This episode written by me. That's me, Mr. Jibber Jabber. Music by Jeff Russell. Hosts here also. Emily, good to have you here.
Always good to have Emily around.
She'll be back.
And I'll always come back for musicals.
Yeah, we're gonna do
all that jazz.
all that jazz coming up.
And I've never seen it.
And I've never seen it.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun.
Also, Kev is here. Kev, hosted too. See you next time. May all your days be merry and bright. May all your Christmases be white. Speaking of Christmas, the first and unforgettable picture in VISTAVISION. This time on the Jibber Jabber, the most fantabulous. This time on the Jibber Jabber, Crosby's recording was so popular that he was obliged to re-record it in 1942, using the same musicians and backup singers as the 1942. Crosby's recording was a neighbor 15-year-old Valerie Hobart shared Crosby's enthusiasm for The Bulge and noticed that
The Bulge.
it's a movie.
Oh.
And noted that Crosby's laugh took a liking to him and called him Bingo from Bingville, and eventually last vowel was dropped and the nickname stuck.
Yeah, there you go.
That's very odd, but it's a good name. It falls off the tongue. It's very it's a very good like.
Oh wait, hold
stage
on.
name.
We tell that story again.
Okay.
There was a. So there was a.
And he's feeling the same things that were in the beginning. Pause for pizza.
See you next time. May your days be merry and bright. May all your Christmas wishes be white.
White Christmas.
Shall we take that?
No.
Yeah, do it one more time.
I kind of got it.